Recession, 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 recession. That's all you're hearing about on the news. So what do you think? Do you think you're going to have a recession? Well, here's my personal opinion. Yeah, yeah. We're going to have a recession pretty soon. What's up, YouTube? I'm Debt-Free Joel. On today's personal finance tip, we're going to discuss whether or not we're going to have a recession. At the recording of this video, it's 2022 in the middle of the year. If you like these type of videos, cool. Click the like and subscribe button, and let's get to it. So are we going to have a recession? Yeah, you can bet your dollar that we're going to have a recession within the next 12 to 18 months. Let me explain. As the Federal Reserve is working towards trying to bring down inflation, right, which is the cost of goods that you want to purchase rising, they're going to raise interest rates. The logic behind raising interest rates is actually really simple. When they raise interest rates, the cost of borrowing, so think about trying to buy a house right now, you'd have to get a mortgage. Or if you want to buy a car and you can't afford it outright, you're going to have to finance the car. Or if you want to buy regular things around your house and you don't have cash, you're going to swipe your credit card. So the cost of borrowing is going to increase because a lot of those companies, companies that you borrow money from, they peg the interest rate they charge you to whatever the Federal Reserve does. So if the Federal Reserve raises interest rates, what do you think the credit card company is going to do to your interest rate? Yeah, it's going to increase. And when it does increase, you're likely going to decrease your spending. But here's the problem. When you decrease your spending, you are emotional. Yeah, you're emotional when it comes to money. So chances are, if you see inflation going outrageous, if you see the Federal Reserve raising interest rates, if you see the stock market starting to decrease, you're going to cut back on your spending, but you're going to cut back on your spending dramatically. And when you do, it's going to decrease the amount of general or gross domestic product of the country, right? i.e. your spending. If we all decrease it at the same time and we do it severely, you're going to cause a recession. Now, there's multiple reasons why there's going to be a recession. Number one, the last major recession that we had was in 2008. Those of you who remember the housing crash, yikes. Remember how painful that was. It was a painful recession. It was basically the closest thing that we got in our generation to the Depression, and that was just disgusting. Now, we also had a recession in 2020, right? Because it was a forced recession because of COVID. That's when they basically shut the world down. That lasted about 2 months. You see, recessions normally last anywhere from 11 to 18 months, but we are really due for one. So that's the first reason why I think we're going to have a recession within the next 12 to 18 months. The second is because the Federal Reserve, like I just explained, is raising interest rates. Again, as you raise interest rates, you, the consumer, are going to spend less. But because we are emotional people when it comes to money, we're going to really cut back on our spending. And when we do that, you're going to decrease the amount of money you put into the government. You're going to decrease the amount of taxable income. You're going to decrease the amount of sales that these companies are betting on, which is going to cause a recession. Now, what happens in a recession? Companies cut back on their labor force, right? So think about unemployment rising. Companies spend less money on growing their company, which is going to also decrease the taxable revenue for the government. So you're going to start seeing these things in the next 12 to 18 months. But do you know one of the most interesting aspects about a recession? Check this out. One of the interesting aspects about a recession is really you. Because you are so emotional when it comes to money, chances are you're going to cause the recession, or everybody in this country. What do I mean by that? Because we're so drastic in the way that we go from overspending to cutting spending, we, the consumer, are going to contract the economy. Because we're going to cut back so severely and we're going to get so scared when we see the market tanking because of raising interest rates that we're going to cause the recession. Now, how bad is this going to be? Depends who you ask. Is it going to be bad as 2008? I don't think so. But I do think you're going to see some rising unemployment. I do think that people are going to be complaining. I do think you're going to see the Federal Reserve and or the government, probably the government, send out those stimulus checks again. I think that's going to come. But this is what we're going to deal with. This is what's coming within the next 12 to 18 months. Mark my words that there's going to be a technical recession within the next 12 to 18 months just because of how consumer spending is going. You can see people are starting to cut back on their forecasts. You can see that companies are starting to lay off people and cut back on, trying to hire people, for example. All these things are coming. So that's why I think the recession is coming. Like I said, as of the recording of this video, it's June 2022. You guys can bank on it within maybe the next 18 months. So at the end of 2023, we're going to be in a recession. They are going to be able to declare one, and it is what it is. So start to be prepared. I'm going to do another video eventually on how you can prepare for a recession, but there's three major things you want to do. Number one, get out of debt, right? Come on, this is Debt-Free Joel's channel. What the hell did you expect me to say? Get out of debt, okay? Start reducing your credit cards. At least start with your credit cards. Start cutting those out as much as you can and paying those down. The second thing is to build your savings, build your emergency savings. So if you and or your wife and or your husband and or your partner, I don't care what you call them, make sure both of you have 6 months of expenses saved up so that if one of you were to lose your job, you're able to sort of, make sure you can sustain your lifestyle. And then the third and most important thing is to cut back on your spending, right? Go on a budget. Make sure that you guys are on a budget. You know where your money's being spent so that you can start to save more money so that when the recession happens and the market has downturns, you can maybe purchase securities and stocks at cheaper prices. Got it? It's actually pretty that simple. I'm Debt-Free Joel. If you like these type of videos, cool. Click the like and subscribe button. Feel free to follow me on Instagram at Debt-Free Joel. It's the same name. It's where we talk about everything finance, from saving, investing, and most importantly, charity. Until next time, keep your money up.